Welcome, Just Rats viewers. Well, today is Wednesday. Today is a big day for the week. I do the recommended read of the week. I reveal that book that people are waiting to see what I'm going to introduce today. I do it every Wednesday, and how I came up with that, I'm not sure if you watch these young YouTubers. It is absolutely amazing how they do this reveal of what they get in UPS and the mail. And it's amazing how many people watch just to see if they got a new neck massage gadget so they can play 5 hours of Fortnite. So, but I don't get mail and I don't get too many packages sent. So what I'm going to do is reveal a book each week. I do it on Wednesdays. So that's on the to-do list tonight. We're going to talk a little bit about selling to needs. We're going to cover that, even though it's almost a whole day class that I teach that in. We'll give it a little time. We'll talk a little bit, of course, burgers or steaks, and then we'll also cover some baseball and some basketball. The baseball topic, we might as well just get that over and done with. To discuss. The Yankees are not off to the start that they were expecting. You figure if their first 6 games of the year were against a AAA team like Baltimore and Detroit, then both of those teams in a major rebuilding year, you were expecting a 5-1 record maybe after 6 games. But instead, they're 2-4, and the majority of their team is on the disabled list. Center fielder on the disabled list, Hicks. You have who else have we got on the disabled list? We got our starting left fielder / DH, Mr. Stanton, with a bad bicep muscle. We have our third baseman, a runner-up rookie of the year, Andujar. He has something wrong with his shoulder. He could be out for 2 weeks. If rehab doesn't work, he'll be out for the year. Our shortstop, Didi, he's out till the All-Star break probably. So they brought in another All-Star. I know he's been injury prone over the last couple of years with some bad heels. Tulowitzki, National League All-Star for many years. Today he looks like he pulled a calf muscle, which can keep him out for a while. We have two starting pitchers. Severino, CC, I heard could be back in 10 days. And then we have one of our top relief pitchers, Betances, and he's out till May. So we have close to $100 million on the disabled list, and you wouldn't expect that in the first 5 games of the year. So people said, Ed, you can't win the World Series in April, but you can lose the World Series in April. If you go back the last 20 years and look at all the standings and look at all the teams that missed the playoffs by 1 or 2 games, missed the wild card by 1 or 2 games, or their division by 1 or 2 games, you'd be amazed at how many teams that happened to. And most of the time, you'll go back to silly losses in April. So we'll see how that plays out. But enough about baseball because the Yankees sort of got me in a little bit bad mood today. So let's talk a little bit about the NCAA tournament. We got 4 teams that nobody's really happy about. I know the networks aren't. You got Texas Tech against Michigan State and Auburn against Virginia, and everybody's upset. And I don't know why. There's nothing wrong. These teams play good ball. They play good defense. They shoot well. They play solid. You know, they beat some major teams along the way. You know, you look at that Auburn team. They got past, I think, Kansas, Kentucky, and North Carolina. Like that's quite a feat. So I think it's going to be an exciting weekend. You got 4 good teams. Problem is, you just don't know who all the players are and who the teams are because they're not normally there. So, but if you're a good college basketball fan, you should enjoy it. Now, that said, let's talk a little bit about selling to needs. I hear sales reps go, I sell to the customer's wants and needs. I'm not going to get into it tonight, but there's a huge difference between a want and a need. Oh, the definition of a want is a desire to possess something. The definition of a need is something that needs to be fixed, something that needs to be addressed. So if you sell to customers' needs, most likely you're fixing a problem for them. If you're selling to customers' wants, they will buy sometimes. Sometimes they'll go dark on you. And if they do buy, you might never get any referrals because you never really fixed the problem what the customer initially had. So selling to customers' needs is how I teach sales reps. And if you stick to the formula of I want to help a customer fix a problem, it's amazing how your closing statistics will increase. Your wallet will get thicker because you're more worried about fixing a problem versus selling a product. And the customer will be able to tell that. If your mindset is, I have to get rid of some inventory, I have to put a sale on a product that's not selling. So you're more concerned about pushing a product. Yes, you will get some sales that way, but most of the time you will not get repeat customers and you won't get referrals. If you're more worried about addressing what the customer's problems are, they will look at you as a trusted advisor and not as some sales rep pushing a product. So your mindset, no matter if you're selling software, pharmaceuticals, wireless. Now the wireless arena is where I've been doing most of my training in over the years. I got into the wireless industry back in 1996. Then I went out on my own and as far as sales training goes, and quite a few of my clients are in the wireless sector. And if you're in the wireless sector, or any other sector, if you're really focused on sitting down and asking a customer what's important to him when they select a new vendor, they're going to tell you, well, it has to be service, or it has to be coverage area, or it has to be quality. And if you worry about addressing those issues, because most likely they're not getting them with their current vendor, and you show them how your product is going to address that issue, the price point that you're at, most of the time, if your a product is a little bit more expensive than your competition, the customer will not care because they're more concerned about as far as their needs go to get addressed. And they're willing to pay a few extra pennies knowing that you're able to fix that problem. So that's a technique that I strongly recommend for all salespeople. And if you stay away from that transactional sale, selling a product, it'll be a good idea for you to stay in the arena of selling to needs. And you'll be amazed on the referrals that you'll get and the comments that people will say regarding what kind of sales professional you are. They'll be very positive. So those are the kinds of things you want people to say when you're not around, that you want to call this guy Frats. He's going to look out for you. He's more concerned about what you need versus what he's trying to sell. So, and most of the time your needs are always going to fall into 4 categories. A need will always fall into a financial issue that the customer wants addressed, a productivity issue, a image issue, or a security or safety issue. And people go, what do you mean a safety or security issue? And, I got an example that one client I recall was they were worried about their coverage area in northern Philadelphia. I think Villanova University is in that area. And his daughter was going to school there. And when she was driving home, he was worried about her safety. And her current phone provider did not work very well in that side of town. And so his issue wasn't how expensive the phone was or what the price point of the plan was. He was more worried about making sure his daughter was safe and that the phone was going to work there. So that's what I mean. Like, if you find out that you're addressing the safety issue with that client, they're going to buy, and they're going to send you customers. Sometimes it's a financial issue that, there's a lot of technology out there to track, say delivery vans, and there's owners wondering where their employees are. They're paying overtime when the customer and when their driver really isn't working 8 hours, or they're claiming they're working 10, because they're monkeying around with an hour and a half lunch break, et cetera, et cetera. So if you have technology to be able to track their vans and show that client that you're able to save them thousands of dollars a year in overtime, you're not worried about selling them the product as much as trying to lower their expenses in overtime. So that would be a financial issue. And I have many examples that companies have saved, $30,000, $40,000 a year just in payroll expenses, because they're able to track where their vehicles are. So if you have that mentality when you're selling, you'd be amazed the results that you will get. Your closing percentages will increase drastically, and more customers will make their decision quicker, because you're going to show them how you're going to recoup this money that they've been missing out on and be able to put it back into their wallet. So they won't have time to think about it. Let me think about the price of the phone, or the price of your software that you're selling, or price of the product. If you show them how you're going to start recouping money right away because of your product, they're going to make their decision a lot quicker, and you'll have a lot less people sitting on the fence. So those are some of the things that you could make some minor changes to pretty quickly regarding your selling skills. If you get away from selling what your product is and more worried about what need they're going to get fixed. And remember, you got to keep asking the questions so you find out, does that fall into a financial, image, a productivity, or a safety need? And once you identify that, you'll be amazed. The customers will love you. So if you have more questions about that, please reach out to me, ed@fratz.com. Shoot me an email if you want to discuss this in further detail. I have people that have reached out to me since I've started getting on YouTube, and they've wondered how can we get Ed Fratz? How can we get Fratz? Well, there's a couple ways. One, you could reach out to me. Your company could reach out to me, and we could sit down and see what you're looking for as far as sales training goes. That's one way. If your company doesn't have the budget or the desire to bring in a sales trainer, you personally could reach out to me. And I do a lot of private coaching that I work with salespeople all the time, all over the country. And we talk once a week, twice a week, whatever you need, whatever you're looking for. I have many different plans based on what you're looking to get addressed. So you could do it privately. You could bring your team in, or you can invite me to your city or to your town. And if you got 20, 30 people that want to hear me do a one-day training on a particular topic, reach out to me. I'll let you know how that works. And I'll be more than glad. I live in South Florida, but I cover all 50 states. And I will even go international too. I would love the opportunity to go to the Bahamas and do some training. So if you're wondering how you could get me, just reach out to me. I'll be glad to help you personally or your company. I do have a question that came in. Someone wanted to know, how did I get the title, The Godfather of Sales Training? Well, I didn't come up with that and just say, I gave that title to myself. It wasn't me. It was my class that was throughout the years, in the early years, that the students gave me that title. And I have several rules in my class, and one of them is you can't use your cell phone while I'm training. You're not hurting my feelings. You're being a distraction to the person you're sitting next to. So there's no phones in class. So if you are using the phone, because there's always one or two out there who want to test me, I have this knack by just, I guess, giving a person a look without yelling or shouting or reprimanding. I just could give the look, and they know that that phone has to disappear in less than a second. Well, one day I gave the look, and the rest of the class go, Ed, you look like Tony Soprano half the time when you're in front of that room. Now, I am a big guy, and I guess I have this look about me sometimes, and it's a stare, and it accomplishes a lot of things. You could also ask my son about that look. And so in the beginning years, they just started calling me the Godfather of sales training, and it has basically it has everything to do with James Gandolfini and how I carried myself. And they said I reminded them a lot like him. So that's how. If you're wondering how I got the Godfather of sales training, that was given to me by students, and it wasn't something I just gave myself. So if you got any questions, feel free to shoot me those questions at ed@frats.com, or just post a comment, and I'll be glad to get back to you regarding that. Last week I talked about the best burger joint in Palm Beach County, Greece. I wanted to know where you live. What is the best burger joint where you live? Because I do a lot of traveling around the country, and I really enjoy finding a place that's not a chain. But when I am on the road and I like to go out to eat at night, I do my best to find places that I can't find back home. So if you have a really good burger joint in your neck of the woods where I could get a cold beer and a great burger, let me know about them. I really would like to know a little bit about it. I find that fascinating when I travel to see different restaurants, but they're local restaurants by local owners. And to me, they're some of the best places in the country to eat versus just following the chains. So let me know. Give me a post on what the best burger place is in your neck of the woods. Now it's time to reveal the book, the recommended read of the week. Okay. And the recommended read of the week is a classic. Okay. In the business world. There's in many industries over the years, there's a lot of changes going on in large companies. Sometimes smaller companies are bought out. Bigger companies are cutting back or changing jobs, and you don't work in the office no more. You got to work from home, et cetera, et cetera. So over those years, all these changes happening, some people do not do well with these changes. So there's this book out there that's been a big help for many, many people. And you don't have to be in the sales industry for this. It's called Who Moved My Cheese by Spencer Johnson. Okay. And this book here, she wrote this book a while ago. All right. And Who Moved My Cheese? This book here, I read it many times, but I can't believe how many people have read it and then came back and told me that saved their job. This little skinny book, okay, Who Moved My Cheese by Spencer Johnson. It's, I don't know, it even has pictures in it, okay, 3 pages, okay. Some people get this done in a couple hours, all right, and many people said that it saved them. It saved their job, and it saved their brain was about to explode with trying to deal with change, and that book came through for them. So think about that read. I strongly recommend it, especially with so many changes going on in the corporate world these days. So it's a quick read. I like quick reads because you could implement the material quickly. And you don't have to read a book that's 700 pages, take 3-4 months to read it, realizing, wow, I really wish I knew this stuff 3-4 months ago. So that's why I do my best to recommend books that you can get through pretty quick that be impactful in your career. That's all I got for you, folks. I appreciate your time today, and I hope the information I brought to you was helpful and and affected your career a little bit. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. If you're new, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. I really would like that. And please share it with your friends and coworkers. Till next time, take care.